Hello and welcome to the Lumen Project. I'm Dr. Helene, clinical psychologist. Today, I'm really excited to be here in Bangkok. I'm joined by Stephen. He's a coach and the founder of The Secret Garden, ice bath and sauna. Okay, hi Stephen.
Hi, Helene.
Thanks so much for joining.
You're welcome.
So, Stephen, tell me a little bit more about what you do and also maybe how it helps people to feel good and to promote their mental health.
Okay, so my background is I was always a very active kid, and I was a football player, soccer.
Professional?
Not professional. I was too young for that, but at a very young age, I understood that I was very prone to injuries. And then at a very young age, around 18, I decided to stop. But the club for who I was playing for asked me to take care of the little ones. They were looking for a coach, and I said, yeah, why not? And then I fell in love in coaching. So my first job was football coach. And then after a few years, I wanted to know more about the human body. And then I started to do some certifications about strength and conditioning.
Great.
And then from strength and conditioning, I was thinking, how can I help them mentally? And so on. I keep trying to become a better coach overall.
Amazing. Yeah. And I know from your Instagram, you're always training and that's a huge part of your life.
Yeah,
now.
it's my passion, but also I need it. I need it.
Yeah, to be well.
To be well, yeah, exactly.
Nice. Amazing. So, oh, sorry about the plane. I'll just wait 1 minute. That's going to be annoying, isn't it? Oh, well.
Yeah, many planes at Bangkok.
Yeah. So I guess your first passion was sport, and that continues to be a big part of your life. But what brought you to opening a ice bath and recovery center?
So 5-6 years ago, when COVID came on this earth, I needed to make decisions with my future. And one of them was to get my bachelor degree. And so I went to Bangkok. So I moved from Koh Samui to Bangkok to do my business management certification, bachelor degree. And while I was doing my presentations and trying to create businesses, I found out that I was actually pretty good in it. So in my last final exams, I also created Secret Garden on paper. And I showed that to my business partner. And when he saw the numbers and when he saw how I put it together, he said like, okay, let's go for it. So the day that I had my, when you get your degree, it's
Graduation?
my graduation. Wow. And I said it before. So the day that I got my graduation, Secret Garden was in construction. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
and I fell in love with the process to do a business plan, to put numbers together, to put ideas together, to create a vision, a mission, and then put it all together and hopefully finding the right people to step on the train with me. And so Secret Garden was made a few months after my graduation. And I want to keep going and I want to keep creating businesses that are helpful for people. Regarding Secret Garden is focusing on heat and cold exposure, but it could also be creating a place where people can play pickleball or where people can go train or everything that has to do with mind and body.
I love that. And I think nowadays, people are so busy and the spaces like this are a place where you can just relax, but also
Exactly.
connect without having to take drugs or get wasted or eat unhealthy food. Like this is a really amazing place that you created. Well done.
Thank you.
So cool. So when we first met, we were at a wellbeing conference and I was really taken by what you were saying about the benefits of cold plunges. I was just curious if you've worked with somebody, who's done a lot of hot and cold therapy and maybe they've shared their experiences, maybe they've started to feel a lot less stressed or slept better.
Everyone that comes here and did the first time ice bath or sauna or both, they tell me like, oh, I sleep like a baby.
Amazing.
I think that's like the benefit number one.
Yeah.
It takes weeks of doing it multiple times. I think the biggest misconception of sauna and ice bath is, okay, I did a workout, I do ice bath, tomorrow I will be recovered. It's actually something that you need to do 3 to 4 times a week so that your body gets used to it and so that you get all the benefits in the long term.
Okay, yeah, so consistency, like with anything.
Consistency, like everything else, like everything else.
Yeah, okay. And is it possible to do too much of this?
Yes, for sure. I think also now we see that on social media, I can do 10 minutes in the ice bath, I can do 15 minutes in the ice bath. Studies have shown that physically, your peak is 2 to 3 minutes, and then after 3 minutes is declining, and after 6 minutes, there is no more physical benefits. It can be mentally, so you can have that meditation performance where you stay 10 minutes in the ice bath, but physically, after 6 minutes, there are no more benefits. So what we try to teach here is try to do 2 to 3 minutes, get out of it, get back to baseline, and then go again for 2 to 3 minutes. And then you have much more benefits than to stay, for example, 10 minutes in one go.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, because I guess some people really try to push themselves and maybe
Exactly.
sometimes put the body under stress that it doesn't
Yeah.
need. So let's say I go in for 2 to 3 minutes at a time. How many rotations should I do?
But I always recommend that if you have the time, and at Secret Garden there's no limit time, so you can stay as long as you want. I recommend always three rounds.
Okay.
And the question that comes most of the time is, with what do I start and what do I need to finish? So if, for example, you come at 2 p.m. and you still have a dinner tonight, I would finish with ice bath. So you're
Okay.
gonna get focus through the evening. If you come, for example, at 6, 7 p.m. and after this you're gonna go home, eat and sleep, I would finish with heat exposure, sauna.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you want to wind down for sleep, finish warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finish with warm.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, and I guess with sleep, I mean, it depends how soon afterwards you sleep, but we know that you take a hot bath and it's that cooling process
Exactly,
that helps
yeah.
you go to sleep. So
Yeah, exactly.
nice. Okay. And I guess places like this are often open into the evening as well, right? Nice.
And we are thinking about opening on Tuesdays and Thursdays until 9 p.m. for people that work in the office until 6, they go to the gym, and then they still have time to come here to finish their day with a sauna ice bath.
Nice, nice. So obviously there's so many benefits to the hot and cold exposure, but are there any contraindications or times you shouldn't expose yourself?
If you have problems with blood pressure, it might be not a good idea to do it without asking your doctor. Also, when you're on certain medications, you should be careful with that. But normally, everyone can do it if you don't have like medical issues.
Yeah.
Because it's nature.
Yeah.
Cold and heat is nature. It's not like something you try to inject or intake.
Yeah. And I guess maybe it's also about listening to your body, you know, so starting easy and working up to that 2 or 3 minutes with time. Like, don't stress your body too much in one go.
Always, like I always tell them, like for me, Steven on a Sunday or Steven on a Wednesday is not the same Steven. So for me, I have my day. For example, I say today I go 12 minutes in the sauna, but if I feel at 8, 9 minutes that it's too much, okay, then I step out.
Yes.
If I feel at 12, I feel good today, maybe I do like 2, 3 minutes extra, I do it. But always have in mind that you need to listen to your body. Your body is talking to you constantly. And I think the new generations, they forget the connection between body and mind. And I try to teach them to say, like, always listen to your body.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's good advice. And that's advice, you know, across the board, whichever practitioner
Everywhere.
I speak to, listen to your body.
Listen to your body.
Yeah. So I was listening about cold plunges for women. And so I may be wrong here, but I heard that maybe for women, a cold plunge is more effective, a little bit warmer than for a man. Have you heard about this?
Monthly period, and so the body is differently stressed. I think if I remember well, you have like 15 days where you have less stress and 15 days where the body is more in stress. But I do know that a woman changes in 1 month. A man stays the same, but a woman has ups and downs. And it's very important to understand, again, we come back to listen to your body. So if a woman feels more stressed because of her hormones, she needs to be more careful when she does cold plunge, for example.
Yeah.
And then yes, going to a cold plunge that's a little bit warmer, if you can say warm, I would recommend that, yes. That's why we have a chiller. We will see that later on. We have a chiller that's around 10 degrees Celsius, and then we have the ice bath that's will be below 5 degrees Celsius.
And I have a quick question. It's not really related to mental health, but if you have a cold or you're not feeling 100%, should you expose yourself to?
I know that if you have a small cold, it's not going to change anything, because actually ice bath or sauna might help to get your immunity stronger. But don't forget, you still are in a stress process.
Yes.
So if you're a little bit sick and you go workout all in, if you are really sick, I would skip sauna and ice bath
Yeah.
for a few days,
Yeah.
for sure.
So yeah, just sort of common sense, I guess.
Yeah, I would. That would be my recommendation.
Okay, nice. So I guess I was wondering, people watching this are going to be interested in optimizing their exposure to heat and cold. So we were talking before about Wim Hof, he's doing a lot of this breathing and activating the body. What do you recommend before getting into the ice bath and before getting into the sauna?
The sauna, you don't really need to be prepared, except drink a lot of water. Coconut water would be amazing. Watermelon would be amazing. Just try to be hydrated. That's the only advice that I can give you. Try to have a time. If you're a beginner, I would say between 10 to 15. If you're already an expert, 15 to 20. But again, listen to your body. If you feel like, oh, I'm getting a little bit dizzy, or I start to have difficulties with breathing, then just step out.
Yeah.
But hydrate. Electrolytes or like I said, coconut water is amazing.
Yeah. So some of this sort of deep breathing and charging the body is not really necessary, I guess, and might actually be stressing the body more than it needs to.
Exactly. For me, I think like if you start breathing, like they call it hyperventilation, I think they call it, you create more like stress cortisol in your body, and then you go into cold again with stress. I would not recommend that. What I would recommend is try to calm down, know what you're going to do, and when you step in, go down, your first 5 to 10 seconds, you will need to force your breathing by through the nasal and blow out through the mouth. But normally after 5 to 10 seconds, after 5 to 10 seconds, you can start slowing down, calm down your breathing. And if you can do that, I think the process way more efficient for you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, you'll show me later how to do it, because
Exactly.
I'm not very good at ice baths and I'm a bit intimidated. Okay, great. So my last question is, what do you feel is next for you? What is some of the change you want to see in the world? Like, what's your mission?
I think we are going in the right direction. I had the chance to talk with a lot of GMs from hotels. Before, when you create a hotel, it was like a beautiful bar where you have your cocktails, where you can watch TV. And now they become smaller and smaller, and their gyms become bigger and bigger. The saunas, the ice bath gets more attention in hotels. So I think that's something that's very interesting. I read a study yesterday, I think, about in 2030, 1 on 3 travelers are looking for hotels with big gyms and a wellness department.
Yeah.
So I think we are going in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, definitely when I heard you speaking, I could really see, how your knowledge about hot and cold exposure would be great in a wellness retreat, a retreat dealing with mental health, physical health, everything. This is part of it, right?
Yeah.
If you learn how to focus, master your mind, master your body,
exactly.
that fits really nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all of your knowledge. I guess I'll go get changed and get wet. Yeah, so where should we start?
With the beginning. So what we always recommend is to take a shower, just for hygiene reasons, and also you feel much better when you go in the sauna. Often we get the question like, with what do we start? And with what you start is not that really important, but I recommend to start with the sauna. Why? Because when you go into the sauna, believe it or not, you get hot from the outside, but your body wants to survive, so it's gonna get colder inside. So once you do like 10 to 15 minutes sauna and you get out, you wait a few minutes and then you go into the ice bath. And most of the people feel more comfortable after sauna to go in the ice bath than to start with the ice bath. But honestly, you can start with ice bath or sauna.
Yeah.
With what you finish is more important. If you finish with ice bath, you're gonna get that norepinephrine and dopamine effect, where you're gonna get more alert and more focus. If you finish with sauna, so heat exposure, you will feel a little bit more relaxed and maybe time to go to bed and fall asleep.
Nice. Okay, amazing. So, if you're a beginner, how long do you think is a good amount of time to start in the sauna?
So for me, sauna would be between 10 to 15 minutes. But if you're already used to it, I will recommend 15 to 20. But keep in mind, you always need to listen to your body. For ice bath, for everyone the same. Try to aim for 2 to 3 minutes, but don't go over 6 minutes, for example. Now, if you can only do 20 to 30 seconds, that's already
You can get in, Stephen. That's the
yeah.
question.
5 seconds is more than 4. So
Okay, well, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna have a shower for the gram. Oh. We'll just pretend that there's ice in this.
so so step one is you know what you're gonna do, so you have everything under control. So what's gonna happen now? Your first step is you're gonna step inside of the cold plunge. Don't wait too long. You step in, sit down immediately.
So
You're gonna
like,
yeah. How more you have water over your body, how better it is, because we have a lot of brown fat around the trapeziums, so we want to activate that. But I do understand that some people like to put their hands out, so you can actually put your hands outside of the water to make it a little bit more comfortable. But whatever you do, when you step in, don't wait too long, because your brain immediately gonna say like, I want to step out. Once you go sit down, the water is gonna go above your chest. There's gonna be a moment where you're gonna go in a shock. It's a small shock, but that's the moment when you need to breathe in and out and force yourself. But that takes normally 5 max to 10 seconds. After that, I really want you to calm down, like what you would do in a meditation. Breathe calmly so your body can start being calm.
okay.
Are you ready?
No. Let's go. Okay.
I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, sit down. Good. Keep breathing. Okay, and now slowly calm down. Good. Now calm down. You can put your hands outside of the bed if you want to. Good. Now you start calming down. And how more you like I said, you have everything under control. Like if you want to step out, then you can step out.
I want to come out. Oh. I know that was a bit pathetic, but I'm not very good at.
You did almost 1 minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm a bit surprised. Woo. Okay. Yay.
Like what you can do, what you if you want, you can try now the one with ice.
No.
Up to you.
I don't want to go like.
But what is fascinating is that some people they close their eyes, some people they open, and this is what I don't tell them what they need to do because their body naturally will do what thinks is best for them. What the only thing that I try to do is to calm you down.
Yeah.
There's no purpose of me to say like, no, stay longer, you can do this. There is no purpose because how more you're gonna do this, how easier it's gonna become for you because your body will adapt to the situation. There is Huberman, for example, he used that term that I like really well. Like most of the people tell me like, how long should I stay? And everybody is different. So 2 minutes for me might not be 2 minutes for you. What I mean is listen to your body. And he calls it waves. So what is one wave? A wave is like, I want to get out of the water, but I can stay a little bit longer. That's one wave. When you get your second wave, like, okay, now I want to get out, but I might be able to stay a little bit longer. That's your second wave. Normally after 3 to 4 waves, that's the moment you should step out. So some days a wave comes every 20 to 30 seconds. Some days the waves comes every 40 seconds, and that determines how long you can stay in the water.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that is a really good way to teach people. Like if you feel you want to get out, but you can stay a little bit. Yeah, there is a difference between pushing yourself in a healthy way and then pushing yourself in a way where you're actually doing the opposite of being healthy.
Yeah. 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 I actually think though, even though that was really hard, I feel like I could do it again. Like it was the thought of it, I was building it up in my
Yeah.
head.
I think if you in 2 to 3 minutes, if you try it one more time,
Yeah, I think
it
I
will
can
be
do it.
it will be much more easier.
Do you think I should try colder or just stick with this size?
Up to you. I don't force no one.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
I'll put the timer so you have an idea. Good. So now you see you're already much calmer from in the beginning. And think about the waves, like every time when you feel you want to get out, look at yourself and see if you can stay like 10 to 15 seconds more.
I want to get out. Oh.
37 seconds.
What do I do with my legs? Like they feel horrible.
But that's normal. That's like, but that's what I mean. Like many people, they come and they ask me like, is it going to be painful? I say like, that's one of the beauties of ice bath. Like it's something that you don't like, but you do it, so you have that good dopamine effect.
Yes.
If it would be easy, you would already lose like half of the benefits.
Yeah.
The hormones only come when you, like, you know, when you go run for a 10K and you finish line and you feel that adrenaline from, yes, I did it, something difficult.
Yeah.
And same with ice bath.
Yeah, I feel pumped. Ready to get more? Okay, nice. Sauna time. Where can we walk in?
You can follow her on.
Oh, you. Okay, well, thanks so much. I feel nicely exposed to my temperature extremes. Any last thoughts? Anything you want to tell us?
There are so many things that I want to tell, but maybe to finish this one, keep the word KISS in mind, KISS. Keep it simple and straightforward.
Okay.
Don't overcomplicate things and always try to keep it simple.
Good philosophy for life in general.
In general, yeah, correct.
Oh, thank you so much. I won't give you a hug, too wet.
You can.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.